that seems to be going around.
I just had another birthday. Oh boy.
Well, it's good to celebrate birthdays, Kim.
It is.
Especially if we can do it at a winery, George.
Yeah, well. Okay.
So I think we're all here. Christian was not going to be able to join us today, but it looks like we've got Andrew, Bill, George, Kim, Sam, Andrea, and Keith has joined us from our conference room. Thanks, Keith. So Chairman Teskey, I'll look to you if you want to go ahead and get started.
Yeah, let's go ahead.
Excellent. So we've got 2 items on today's workshop agenda. The first being a kind of a refresher for those that have been using GJ Speaks, and for those that are new to the Planning Commission, kind of tutorial on GJ Speaks and how it works. So we wanted to cover that. Again, we continue to see use of that platform. I'm excited about that, especially during the times of COVID, but wanted to make sure everybody was up to speed on how to continue to use that tool. And then the second one is really just a logistics conversation about some upcoming scheduling dates and potential for some additional workshops and a couple special meetings. So I'll save that for the latter part of the conversation, but if you have your calendars available, it may help that conversation run a little bit more smoothly as well. So with that, Chairman, I'll turn it over, unless there's any questions from you or others, I'll just turn it over to Ms. Bella Vass, who's going to walk through the GJ Speaks tutorial, and I think she'll be doing some screen share here to follow through.
Yeah, no questions or comments from me. Let's roll.
Excellent.
Great. So I thought we would just start with the video that People Speak, kind of the creators of GJ Speaks. They made a 5-minute video just to kind of give a decision maker experience tutorial. And then if there's any questions after that, I'd be happy to answer those. So I'll go ahead and share my screen.
In it.
Can you guys hear that?
I don't hear any audio if there is any.
This is
I don't hear any either.
Sounds like a regular planning commission meeting.
No audio?
Sorry, Bill, I couldn't resist.
Okay, well, maybe that's not the way to do that. Well, maybe I can just walk through the decision maker experience with the video, but then the video can be available to you all if you want to check back on that. I posted it on GJ Speak, so you should be able to get to it. So I'll go ahead and share my screen again. So what you'll see when you log into GJ Speaks, you'll see what the public sees mostly, you know, in progress meetings, upcoming meetings, and then any recent meetings, and you can view any of the archives. It's really important that you be logged in when you use the platform, just because that is how the site will verify which planning commissioners have looked at specific comments. So when you click on, let's look at the archives. Trying to find one with comments. You'll see the comments and you'll be able to, the public will be able to see which of you have viewed the comment, and the system will ask you to verify, yes, I've read this comment. I don't have your screen available to me, but if you watch that video, it'll make a lot of sense. yeah, I guess maybe that should have been some homework, but if you guys can't hear the video when I screen share,
Hey,
Bella, I'm
yeah.
hearing that maybe I wasn't as familiar with it. It's important that we are logged in on, because I go to GJ Speaks all the time, whether it be from different devices or whatnot, and I just go through the public window to review those. But now, if I'm being evaluated, so to speak, it looks as though I've never looked at GJ Speaks, right?
Exactly. Yes. So if you're having trouble logging in, let me know and I can help you with that.
I don't think it's trouble. It's just the method of doing it from multiple devices. I have found
Sure.
the other one, but I'll stop doing that.
Great. Yeah. Any other comment or questions about the platform that maybe I could answer now? Or Tamara, do you have anything that you think that I should be covering?
yeah, maybe just a quick walk through there of what information is available on GJ Speaks. And are you able to show them the admin page as well, where you can go in and look at the comments?
Sure. I can show them the back end of it, but it won't look similar to what the decision makers will see. For that, I would recommend watching that video that People Speak put together.
Okay.
But yeah, I can walk through kind of the components. So here is a rezone or a comprehensive plan amendment and rezone item. So this is what the public will see. They'll see the name of the item, a brief description. They're able to watch a staff presentation. If there was an applicant presentation, it would show up next to it. They could scroll down a little bit farther and see the files for the project. So here's the development application, and it opens up just as the PDF itself. And you can just open up one of these at a time. So for ease of viewing, this one's having trouble loading, but they would be able to see that just as a PDF. Here's one. And then close that. And then down here is the decision-making criteria. So the public can see what you all are using to review the item. And then at the bottom of the page is the comments and feedback. So this case is closed, but if it were still open, it would give them a deadline, such as 6 p.m. the day before the planning commission meeting, just so you have 24 hours to review any final comments, is when that comment period would close. There's also a couple options. Doesn't look like we use it on this case, or maybe it goes away after the comment period closes, but there's also options to ask staff a question and ask applicants questions. So maybe I'll go to
Bella, can I ask a question?
Yeah, absolutely.
One of the things I've noticed is that when I log in, and other people may have noticed this as well, when I logged in and reviewed all of the presentations and the comments, it sometimes didn't update the number of commissioners that had used it for quite a while.
Well, it's perhaps some weren't logged in when they reviewed it, so that wouldn't have counted them.
Well, but on your login page, it shows whether you've reviewed it or not.
Right.
And what I'm saying is that sometimes I would log in, review it all, and it still wouldn't show that I reviewed it.
Right. I see what you're saying. Yeah, perhaps there's just a delay in the update of that. And I know that People Speak have been working on kind of updating the cache more frequently. So yeah, as the site evolves, I know that, yeah, they're working on those delays and those issues. So we'll just keep an eye on it.
Hey, Bill, this is George. I just want to say, besides the ability to interact with the public, the two things I really like about GJ Speaks is what you just said, that, well, first of all, I really like to have the video of the
Mhm.
staff presentation ahead of time. And I also really like the fact that the criteria that we're going to base our decision on is right in the public's view, and they see that. Hopefully they read that.
Right. Yeah, I know that People Speak really modeled this site to look a lot like the actual public hearing process. So that's, yeah, I agree that having that available and having the presentation available to the public just to mimic it as closely as possible is really what their goal was. And I think that they made a really good product to do that.
So Bella, I have a question as well.
Sure.
So I've used GJ Speaks on the other side, you know, and uploaded my projects. But as far as Planning Commission, do we have a separate login that's administrative and that's different from what the public would?
Exactly. Yeah. So I'll set you up with a login with your city email address. And then I'll teach you how to log in on your iPad and get to it.
Oh, perfect.
Yep. So you will have a separate login for it.
Good.
So moving on. So this is a live item right now. So this is one of the items for next week's agenda. So this is when you can see, leave a public comment for the public record for you all to review. This is the deadline. And then here's where they can ask city staff a question. We also have the ability to turn on a tab that says ask the applicant a question. We don't use that frequently. Typically, city staff will just relay those questions if there are any. So this is the field they would enter. And then when the public leaves a comment, they have 1,000 words. That's to mimic the 3 minutes that they would have in the in-person meeting. They could upload documents. They would leave their full name, email address, the email address just to send them a confirmation receipt. And then they would need to leave their street address. When they leave their street address, only you all and staff can see that. It's not available for anyone else to see. So it's just to keep a record, just like they would leave us their street address in the public meeting. And then they're able to sign up for email updates on the issue. So when we go back through and say whether it was approved, denied, or continued, they would get an automatic email receipt for that. And then they can, over here on the left-hand side, they can look at kind of other documents that maybe aren't being voted on, but still part of the agenda. So typically just the minutes. They can link out to the public meeting information, which just links them to the GJ City website and gives them the option to view the agenda that way. And then they have all the issues laid out here. This number here represents how many comments are on the that issue itself. So, and then this is the order that they'll be in the agenda, and so they can just work through. When it's live, we have the ability to put the live public meeting on this platform, so they can just follow along on GJ Speaks during the meeting. Yeah, so that's what the public sees. Like I said, they could do archives. We've been utilizing GJ Speaks for some of the parks and recreation and other public comments. So you'll see some of that on the website too. But yeah, that's pretty much the gist of it. Any other questions?
Bella, I have a question. So I like the element that says you have more comments to view. So if you log in multiple times right before the meeting, you tell me if this is right, but I will log in and then I'll check the comments, and if there's an additional comment since the time I logged in before that I already read, it'll notify me. Is that correct?
Right. So the comment period closes to the public 24 hours before the meeting, so 6 p.m. the day before.
Okay.
Then it'll notify you 9 a.m. the day of the meeting if there are additional comments that you have not reviewed. So you have from, if for some reason you didn't get a chance to review those yet, you will get an email notification saying, hey, it's 9 a.m. the day of the meeting. There's still this many comments you need to review. Please do so before the meeting tonight, is essentially what the notification says. So,
And how long do I have to do that? Up till the meeting?
up until the meeting. Yep.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. Guess I could walk through, I don't know how, this is what the login screen looks like. Yeah, I just don't see me walking through the admin side of it to be very beneficial, but I would recommend that you guys watch the video that's on GJ Speaks for the workshop, and Jason walks through the decision maker process. Tamara, anything else that you think I should cover?
I don't think so. Thanks for that. Sorry, the technology wasn't quite working today, but do take the time to read that or watch that 5-minute video. It's short and brief, but I think gives you a really good tutorial on how to utilize the tool. And like you might have just caught a glimpse on there on the GJ Speaks platform, is that we're actually using this for far more than just Planning Commission now. So you might have seen, and perhaps you've even watched, some of the information from Parks and Recreation on their recent Parks and Recreation Open Space Master Plan trail, some of their findings. We've used it for our access control plan along Patterson Road. So it continues to prove itself as a really important tool right now. And we have had a lot of viewership and a lot of engagement on the site, which is fabulous. So continue to lead people to the site, especially for those that don't have availability at 6 p.m. every night, or for health reasons or otherwise, it's more comfortable to watch and engage from home. So if there's nothing else there, the other thing I had on the calendar today, as I noted, was just actually look at our calendar between now and the end of the year. And so I'm going to try to share my screen here and let you know what we've got in front of us for some upcoming calendar challenges. And Bella,
Yeah, let me. Okay, you should be able to now.
Yep, see it now. All right, let me share my screen here.
Hey, Bill, since, you know, you could be a spectator, you could be the public, you know, to these next meetings.
Yeah.
Sounded very exciting there. Thanks, Bill.
Not that I don't want to be the public. It's just that I know all you guys too well.
Yeah, that's not where the action's at, huh?
No.
So can you guys see just this Word document with the number of dates on it? Awesome. So let me walk you through, and thanks, George, for your prompt. The remainder of the year is turning out to be a little bit of a juggling act on scheduling, especially with forthcoming hearings and open houses for the comprehensive plan. So I wanted to walk you through a couple questions we had on schedule and want to see what your all input is on kind of specific dates and your availability. So especially as we get closer to the holidays here. And maybe firstly, let me just note that we have released a draft of the plan to the advisory committee, so the CPAC. Keith Eller's your appointment and was involved in a long conversation yesterday on that plan. And I think generally it was well received. There's certainly some tweaks to the plan that we will be making, but we are preparing to actually have a plan hopefully out to the public by the end of next week, which we're really quite excited about. So that went well, which has really enabled us to kind of firm up the dates for the open house and the community engagement for this last kind of leg of the comp plan journey. Let me pause there and look to Keith. Keith, do you have anything you might want to add as a little bit of a aside or a tangent on comp plan? Yes or no?
You know, it would be more so just discussion and hitting on some of the, you know, the topics that seem to be the most talked about anyway. And I don't know if that is that helpful right now without kind of having a plan to review, just sort of an update on what's been going through, or what do you think is most appropriate?
You know, let's talk about schedule now, and then if we maybe have some time at the end, maybe we can hit some of those high points. I will say that we certainly want to make sure we have a extensive workshop with this planning commission on the plan as well. So we can maybe do a little bit of a teaser, if you will, here at the end, Keith, if we've got some time.
Sure.
Okay. So if you turn your attention to just this really basic list of dates, what we have kind of for the next couple weeks are our normal workshop, which is today, which is the top one. We've got a planning commission meeting scheduled for the 27th. We've got 3 items on that for next Tuesday. So you should have received that information out through GJ Speaks and our online agenda posting. They're relatively non-controversial, although some of you will be seeing Bali's again. So that will be on the schedule. And just a reminder, we have dinner for Bill from 5 to 6 on Tuesday. So please make sure that's in your calendars. I think there was an e-invite that went out. So then headed into November, we've got a regular workshop on the 5th. And then the 11th the 10th is our kind of our first decision point. So this will be our first comprehensive plan open house. It is going to be a virtual one, and it's scheduled from 6 to 8 p.m. And so really wanted to stop and ask one, well, let me go through. So we also have 2 other open houses scheduled that same week. We've got one on the 12th, and this is really kind of a drop-in lunch time open house from noon to 1. And then we will be hosting an in-person one for those that is the best way for them to engage in this plan on Thursday, the 12th as well, from 4 to 7. So I wanted to see what your all feelings is about the regular meeting on the 10th of November, and whether you would defer and prefer to be able to have a schedule available to participate in that virtual open house, or whether you'd like to just conduct regular business that evening on the 10th. So that's the first decision point. So let me pause there.
Tamara, could I have a question? I have a question. Is there any pending cases or applicants that would be detrimental to?
That's a great question. So we've got a couple of relatively minor items coming up. I'll be frank, I think they're actually all can be well managed on a consent agenda. There's a couple of right-of-way vacate requests and a couple of easement requests. None of them are particularly urgent, but our applicants like to move through our system seamlessly and as easily and timely as possible. So let me pause there.
Okay, thank you. I guess, I don't know, Chairman Teskey, for my own view, I'd just as soon go to the comp plan, but there's another opportunity the next 2 days, but it's okay with me to reschedule the public hearing. I think it'd be easier on the staff, but.
Yeah, George, I tend to agree with that. I'd hate to have members of the public feeling like they need to make a choice between our planning commission meeting and a virtual open house that might work best for their schedule as well. So I think especially if we don't have urgently pressing matters that we need to review from an ordinary business standpoint. We might as well make ourselves and the public free to attend that comp plan open house.
I think that's a good point.
Generally, I'm seeing heads nod on that. Is that kind of general consensus? Yes.
Yes.
Okay. That sounds good. Thanks. So moving on through the November schedule, as I noted earlier, there's a virtual open house during that lunch hour on the 12th. And then that open house in the evening as well from 4 to 7. And this will actually be in person, held at the Grand Junction Convention Center. And we will do our best, and we've already begun working with Mesa County Public Health to ensure that we've planned properly for that. Open houses during pandemics are an interesting challenge, as you can imagine. So then really at the conclusion of the open house period, we would like to circle back with you all and have a kind of additional workshop to talk about what we've heard and really kind of to get you guys fully up to speed on the plan. And so what we've scoped here is actually in-person workshop. This is a Friday on the 13th, essentially from noon to 2 or thereabouts. We don't have that exactly baked as far as time, but generally it would be a Friday 2-hour period of time where we can workshop that plan with you. And so wanted to pause there and see if there's any concern about your schedules or calendars. This would not fall within our kind of normal schedule for workshops.
I'm out of town, so I would not be able to make that on that Friday.
I'm out of town as well that day.
Okay.
I won't be out of town, but I'll be unavailable that day as well, the 13th Friday.
Okay. If we were able to do something on Thursday afternoon on the 12th, our schedule's more available. I'm seeing
I'm good.
some thumbs up.
I'm flexible
Really?
for either one.
Okay. Okay.
I have to late afternoon on Thursday the 12th to go out of town for the 13th. So
Okay.
I'm good for either one.
All right. So I think we'll likely target that Thursday. It will be a little chaotic for us as we prepare, move out of a virtual open house into in person, but I think we can manage that, generally speaking. And I would prefer to have you guys up to speed and spend as much time as we need on that as well. So we'll try to squeeze something in there on the 12th then. So we'll move on past the 13th. So then we've had some internal discussions about workshopping this as well with the city council. So you guys generally are a little bit more up to speed, frankly, on the comp plan than they are, although they continue to receive lots of correspondence and information on it. But we were anticipating a workshop with City Council on the 16th and thought that this might be a good opportunity to pull both the Planning Commission and the Council together to talk more broadly about the plan. This is the Council's regular workshop schedule, but wanted to see if folks are available for that meeting. Should we schedule it? This would be an evening meeting. Don't hold me to the 5:30. It's either 5 or 5:30. They've been juggling their schedules around with some packed houses that have been attending, but generally 5:30 is the range for that workshop. So let me pause there.
I'm available.
I am as well.
I think I am. I'll be coming back into town.
Okay.
That day.
I'm available.
Great. Sam, do you have a general thumbs up on general availability? You're on mute, Sam.
Yeah, I should be okay.
Okay, great. So we'll move on from there. So then we have currently scheduled that 11/19 workshop, and currently we have scheduled for our Parks and Rec director to come in and present on the Parks and Recreation Open Space Master Plan. We will conduct that virtually, but thought that would be helpful for you guys all to get a kind of firsthand tutorial on that plan, certainly how it interfaces or will ultimately interface with the comprehensive planning work as well. And then on the 24th, so this is the week of Thanksgiving. The Thanksgiving is the 26th. And so I really wanted to stop and talk about the state. In the past, I think we've generally canceled this meeting, but it can be a difficult time for you all to attend, but wanted to see, based on a schedule of trying to get the plan to hearing with City Council before the end of the year, which is really frankly our target. We would either need to hold a meeting on the 24th or try to schedule a special meeting likely on the 1st of December, which is also a Tuesday, but not your regular meeting date, to actually hear and provide a review and recommendation on the comprehensive plan. So let me pause there and see if there's consternation or concern about meeting there on the week of the 24th. And if you've got kids, I think they're out of school this week.
All the more reason to have a meeting. Unless your kids are all nicer than mine.
I think the 24th would work for my schedule.
So I see general heads nodding that people will be around, be available, and don't have reservations per se on holding it on the 24th.
I'll be out of town on the 24th.
I'm sort of tentative on my side. I may be leaving town, but I'm not positive yet.
Okay. Does the first, I don't think we have a preference per se. Does the 1st of December, is that a preferred date for folks? We're kind of back on the ground after the holiday. I see
I'm open the 1st.
General heads nodding.
Yes.
That works for me.
Okay, so we'll target the 1st. Excellent. And then the last one, so kind of rounding out the remainder of December, we have a tentative workshop there on the 3rd. We don't have items yet, but I'm sure we will. There seems to be no lack of them. The 8th would be a regular meeting. And then we tentatively have a joint, kind of the regular quarterly joint meeting with the workshop with City Council. So I think we'll leave that on the schedule for now, but that may come off depending on maybe just a flurry of other meetings and workshops. So we'll, that one I think will be tentative. And then lastly, wanted to talk about that meeting on the 22nd. I think traditionally we've canceled this close to the Christmas holiday. That would probably be my inclination and recommendation, but wanted to look to you all to see if you had concerns about that date.
Looks good. Looks good, Tamara. Thanks for doing this. I can't believe this terrible 2020 year is getting down to the wire here.
Yeah. So I think we'll go ahead and at least tentatively cancel the 22nd. We will certainly plan for not to put elements or items on that calendar if we can at all avoid it. So as long as we're able to maintain, I think that meeting on the 8th of December, we should be able to plan around that fairly well with applicants that may be trying to round out the year with some kind of recommendation from you all before the new year starts. And we do sometimes get those that need to happen before the end of the year. So that That's it. Thank you so much for that. I will take this input and I'll send out these dates that we've all discussed here so you guys have them and can plug them into your calendars accordingly. So,
Sounds great.
Chairman Teskey, that's all I had. We do have a few minutes. I don't know if you guys want to talk briefly about some of the topics that came up in the comprehensive plan. It probably would be a little bit raw. We haven't rehearsed here between Keith and I, or kind of given you a lot of input on kind of this final draft of the plan, but certainly can do that now, or we can save it for later, but we'll look to you, Chairman, on what your direction is at this time.
Well, it seems to me like we've got plenty of opportunity to talk about that as the days go on here, having just looked at the schedule. So I hate to jump into something that's underbaked.
Tamara, and Chairman Teskey, I want to reach out and acknowledge Keith's attendance and hard work as our representative on that committee. I don't know how many hours you put in there, Keith, but I'd probably hesitate to mess it up. But thank you for your attendance, and I think you have a lot of knowledge and background, and I appreciate you representing us.
Those are kind words, and I do enjoy it, but truly I think you'll see in this plan just how much staff has put work into this in concert with our the third party element that's putting this through. So it's exciting. I think it doesn't feel like it's just been an exercise for the sake of going through a comp plan review. I think it hits on truly a comprehensive city plan, not just regarding land use planning. It seems to start to address our elements of sprawl and some of the feedback we get around the peripheral of our community, and included some data-driven elements that help us better understand why choices are being made rather than just simply being reactionary to some of the loudest people out there. So it's exciting. It's a big plan, and the effort is going to be to articulate how in-depth and thorough of a reference plan it is without it being confusing. But I think we've got a good outline for that and a good team that'll do that. So it'll be exciting to share as that time becomes appropriate.
Thank you. Thank you. Chairman Teskey, can I also ask personal privilege to tell the staff, Tamara and the staff, that if that's okay, I'll keep it short, but I wanted to compliment Tamara, you and Dave Thornton. I think, in my opinion, and I think I told this to Dave several months ago, with COVID and all the stuff that's happened, I think it was absolutely critical to continue to move forward with the comp plan, and I especially want to compliment Tamara, your expertise and Dave's and holding, and I don't want to get into this in a long discussion, but I think it was important to hold our consultant to the fire and you get a quality product. And I feel for certain with the staff input that we have that. So that's all I want to say.
Thank you, George. Appreciate that. All right. Well, I don't have anything else for the good of the cause today. Chairman Teskey, I'll turn it to you.
I don't have anything else either. So everyone enjoy the rest of your afternoon.
All right. Thanks, guys.
Thanks. We'll see you guys on Tuesday.
Thank
Thanks,
you.
everyone.
Bye-bye.
Bye.